Hello, 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 hello.
We
And
back. We back.
we're back
You
and
missed
we're
us?
late.
We've
But
been
it's
gone
it's
for a minute.
it's all me. It's all me. It's been a week. It's been an amazing week. I've missed all of you who join us regularly, but I am back. I will give you a glimpse into my work life just a little bit. But how was your weekend, twins, before we get into everything?
The weekend was very relaxing. Got a lot of things done. Got a vacation coming up for me and the kids, so no complaints there.
Oh, nice. Where you headed?
We're going to Myrtle Beach in South Carolina.
Myrtle Beach, I've never been. I've heard South Carolina is beautiful. Is this your first time or what?
Oh, second year.
Oh, nice. I've never been. I'm gonna put it on. I've been to North Carolina. My sister lives in Wake Forest, North Carolina, but I've never been to South Carolina. I think I've been to. It's funny. I started counting. I think I've been to like maybe 25 of your U.S. states. But I definitely have a few more that I'd like to go, and some I probably will never venture into unless someone drags me there. But yeah.
I know the feeling. There's some places I love neither, so I understand.
Hi, Considered Motherfuckers. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for welcoming us back. It was only a week, but I missed you guys like tremendously. It's funny when you get used to doing something, and then you don't. You're like, oh my god. But I was extremely busy. I'm gonna give the viewers a little bit later a glimpse, just a slight glimpse into my life. I spent the last week doing the equivalent of the Oscars in the US. So the company I work for, we put on the Canadian Oscars, and it was a whirlwind week. It was amazing. There was a lot of stuff going on, but it is very, very busy. I worked 7 days straight, 12-hour plus days, but I would do it again because to be on the other side to see what happens to put on an amazing production is very valuable. So I'm learning a lot. And again, like I said, a little bit later, I'm going to give you guys just a slight glimpse. I made like a quick 1-minute clip of some of the things that I experienced. And instead of taking a break after that, I was saying to twins, I was very Jamaican and decided to redo my entire closet, go, grocery shopping, clean all of my meats, season all of my meats, clean my house from top to bottom, just regular, just regular stuff. Like, whatever. But yeah, we are back. Relationship, dating, marriage, we're talking about all of that. And I had a moment. I'm gonna talk to you guys. I had a moment.
Uh-oh.
Yes. I don't know if I want to talk about it yet because I'm still like trying to figure out my moment. But I had a moment that I want to share. Should I share? I should share.
Moment of what?
So as I sip my water. So I am. I think we know I online date.
Okay.
And online dating is a tricky place, but it's also an amazing place because you get to meet people you wouldn't normally meet, and you wouldn't, pass by on a day-to-day basis. Even people in your own city that you wouldn't normally see because people are booked and busy, right? We're adulting. So I met someone, and for the first time, I was talking to that person and I thought to myself, this could be my husband.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good thing, right? That's a good thing, right?
Maybe.
Why maybe? What's the maybe? What's the reserves? What's preventing you saying give him a shot? What's the reserves?
Maybe because I love hard. Like I love hard, and I only have. I said to myself, I only got one more of this in me, and it was. What was I'm still trying to put it into words. I've never met someone where you like instantly connect, and my heart was like beating really fast, and it was just really weird, and like we were having this conversation, and my heart just kept like beating really fast, and there was just this. I was like, "What is happening here?" And then I kind of stepped back from the relationship. We had like a 2 hour conversation. And then I stepped back from the conversation and we were voice messaging actually after we were done video calling. Because listen, I'm a video caller. I think it is important to video call with someone, especially in that beginning phases. Because as much as you might connect online through words, let's be clear, physical attractiveness is important. And I also need to confirm people are not catfishing me because men do catfish. Men do catfish, right? And if I'm honest, I thought this person at the beginning was a catfish. Like I was like, this is not the real person behind the pictures. There's just no way. I was like, there's no way. So I was like, let me just get this video call out of the way because I just don't want to waste my time. And he got on, and it was him, and I was me. And yeah, it was very interesting, and it was funny. He asked me one of the questions that he asked me, and this is actually what I want to get into a bit in the show because I'm actually going to read my answer verbatim when he asked me why I was single, which is a question I get all the time. I think there's usually an assumption that I am in a relationship. So men are always asking me, so why are you single? And so he asked me, let me scroll. He asked me why I was single. And I think I gave the most insightful answer I've ever given. So let me read when he asked me why I was single, what I had to say. I said, I keep praying for the wrong things, and the universe and God keep delivering them to me. I finally learned to pray for the right things, and I'm hoping that will bring mine forever.
And what did he say?
He said, that is very important. We need God's guidance always.
So once again, back to my original question. So what's the reserves? What's causing you to step back, right? Is he being intentional? I mean, based on how you're talking right now, the conversation seems intentional on both sides, unless I'm not getting all the information.
No, it is. I'm gonna be honest because this is what we do on the show. I am terrified of falling in love again.
Which is fair.
That's the most honest answer I have.
Okay.
You know, I remember in my previous relationship, even when I was writing my last book, and if you guys don't have it, don't forget, get No Handouts for Black Girls. Available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and where else you can buy your book. Oh, where's my thing? Let me scroll. Let me make sure my banner's scrolling so y'all know what y'all need to be doing. There we go. there we go.
Promotion. So,
I in my book I described falling in love like this. I said falling in love for me is standing in front of this man naked and vulnerable, holding my heart in my hand, outstretched to him, giving it to him, hoping he won't drop it. That's love to me because it's you're in your purest form. Right? Like there is no pure form than you can be than being stark naked in front of someone. And that's vulnerable. That's the vulnerable in every way, right? And now I have this vital organ. We all know the moment your heart stops beating, you die. Your brain can stop working. That you're still alive. Your heart stops beating, you're dead. And so I'm giving you this most vital organ and I'm handing it to you and I'm praying you don't drop it. And to do that again, knowing how I love is terrifying. Am I open to the risk? Absolutely. No risk, no reward, right? And I think love is the greatest reward we get when you meet someone that you're in tune with and you get to love them, even if you lose them. I would rather have loved and lost than never have loved at all. But getting into it in the beginning stage, it's scary.
Only thing I would say is make sure you don't pull too far away because I don't know his table, what he's if he's pursuing hard or whatever it may be. Just don't pull too far away because then if he feels like there could be someone else or he may think that, hey, she ain't feeling me, I might be feeling her. He may start looking somewhere else, and then you're like, why you ain't hit me up no more? Well, now I'm gonna ask you this: did you tell him that you were stepping back a little bit? Because
No. I was honest with him and told him that I am very much moving forward. I'm honest. Like, here's the thing about me: I'm honest to a fault, good or bad.
okay,
I'm able to articulate my feelings. Here's the thing: this was the part that got me. I'm generally very able to articulate my feelings. Twins, I could not put what I was feeling into words. And that doesn't happen to me often. Hello, I have this show. You've watched me put a lot of things into words over the years. I got 9 books. I do words. Words is what I do. And I could not find the words to fully articulate the moment that I had in that conversation that had my heart beating so fast that I just, it was a very weird feeling. But I was honest with him. I said, I'm not sure what happened. We had a moment and I'm trying to put it into words and I can't. And if anybody were to ask me to put it into words, I told them, I was very honest. I was like, the words I would use is, I think I met my husband. I was honest. And I know that's not, and that's the thing about it. In everything in me was like, don't say that, girl. Don't do that, girl. You're going to run that man off.
Yes, I will say that because it's actually his decision to call you his wife.
Agreed. But when he asked me to put it into words, when he was like, if you were to put it into words, what would those words be? And I had to be honest. I said, if anybody were to ask me what those words were, I would say the words I would use was, I think I met my husband. Now, I get it. Clearly, I don't become somebody's wife unless they choose to have me be their wife. But that was the only words I could use to summarize that moment. And I said to a girlfriend today, I said, listen, I don't know if he's my husband in this life or a past life or a future life, but in that moment, that's what I felt.
Okay. So once you said that, right? And you don't want to give too much information because it's still personal between y'all two, and he might be a fan. So salute to you as well, sir. But just, if you can't give whatever you can give, once you said the husband part, what was his reaction, or what was his talking points after that? Or was there just silence for a minute, like, uh-oh?
There was no silence. Hold on.
That's good. Dialogue.
Go back to my notes. Let me scroll. Let me scroll. Hold on. There's more. There's a lot scrolling.
Okay.
There's a lot. Hold on.
It's the whole point of the show, at the end of the day, we so get to it.
He said,
ooh, still scrolling.
I'm still scrolling. Hold on. As I'm scrolling, he kept going. He was very clear that he's being very intentional about his time and what he's doing. Hold on. I think we might have voice noted about this. I know I wrote it into words. So he's being very intentional. And like I said, I respect it. And, I was honest enough to say, like, again, I don't know if it's in this life or another life, but I felt like I've been married and divorced. I've been engaged. My previous ex. I love that man to the bottom of his feet, to the top of his head. And even that person, I never had that moment that I had of just something just happening that I couldn't quite describe. And you know what the funny thing, I walked away from that moment grateful for it. I was grateful for that moment. I said to myself, no matter what happens between me and this person, I was happy for that moment, because I'm not sure about you, but sometimes you get out of a situation and you question, like, I know for myself, I question, would I ever feel again? Would I ever get to the point where I meet someone and I can have those feelings again. Because as much as once you have experienced a tremendous breakup, there is this inclination to protect your heart. And I think I've had that in the past year. I've had this inclination to protect my heart. I truly want to love and be loved, right? Um, and there was a part of me that questioned, am I ever going to have a moment where I come across somebody who makes me feel again? And I've gone on dates and, I've met men and I've talked to men, and we all have eyes, right? I would say that I'm a fairly attractive woman, and so men, having men in my life is not an issue. And I was kind of going on dates and I was talking to people, but I felt nothing. I felt nothing. Like I was like, yeah, God, maybe I'm just not ready. Maybe it's just not time. And for the first time in over a year, and for the first time in my life, I met someone who made my heart just do something it's never done before, not even my husband. So.
Okay. All right. We'll put a pin to that right there. We don't want to get too much. I mean, it's good. I'm glad to hear that.
So now y'all got updated on what I've been up to for the last week.
There you go. And she's smiling right now. All right. I hope he watches this show. I hope he tunes in. Your possible future wife got her smiling, big smile for the whole world to see. You did it, brother. You did it. Hey.
And okay, so now that you guys are all in my business, you know what? Like, going back to the answer I gave him about being single and praying for the wrong things and God giving them to me. Like, and I think that was, I just had I read it to my girlfriend, who's actually my editor for my books and the creative director for the longest time for this show as well, is she just stopped and was like, damn, like that's a profound statement. Because I think when we're sometimes looking for a relationship, companionship, sometimes what we need and what we want are two very different things.
Correct.
And I prayed for what I wanted, and it's generally not showed up as what I needed. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I mean, we know, the words have power, right? So gotta be careful what you put out in the atmosphere, because someone or something's listening, the ancestors or whoever it may be. So what you want, you have to speak it to existence.
And it was okay. So let me actually read what he said. I'm just gonna go back to when I told that man, I think I met my husband. I said, if I were to write it out, this is what I'd write. I think I met my husband tonight. And then he says, don't be saying it if you don't mean it, because I would love you from your feet to your head and everything in between, and most importantly, your soul and your heart.
Wow. You just said that about the previous person, from living from the feet, from bottom of the feet to the top. I mean, he said the same thing to you. When
the universe. And to hear someone else say something, and God, you got that point. I'm glad you got that. To hear someone else say something to me like that, because that's the way I love, I was done. I was like, okay. That is, and what's funny is I was having a conversation with the Lord and the universe and my dead daddy yesterday. This all happened yesterday. So I was having a conversation. I was cleaning my house and I was going through, and I was just kind of being I watched this show on a channel, Always Black, on Amazon Prime. There was a show, Carl Jr.'s Monogamy. It's a series. I guess it's a few years old, but I just got into it and watched it like all 3 seasons over the last couple of days. And there was a point at the show, I don't remember where it was, but I was sweeping up the house and I was cleaning, and I just was like, God, universe, daddy, all of it. am I ever going to be in a place where I get to have the love that I so desire? And I'm cleaning my house, and this is a conversation I'm having out loud. And I'm just like, I'm in a place that I know that I'm ready. I'm ready to receive it. I'm ready to give it. I feel like I've done the work. But my biggest fear has always been that I will die alone.
Mm.
I will die alone. That was that after my previous relationship ended. Because going back to, I feel as if I was praying for my ex. I prayed for him and he showed up. Like I prayed for him and he showed up, and I felt like God gave me what I had been praying for. Then he shows up and it didn't work out. And I was like, have I run out of prayers? And this is why I answered him in the way that I did when I said, I keep praying for the wrong things and God keeps giving them to me. I need to learn how to pray for the right thing. Because my ex, as great as he was everything I wanted and not a lot of the things that I needed in my life. And I've had to learn to pray for the things that I need, and prayed also comes with the things that I want. Drops mic. I just had a moment for myself.
There you go. Confirmation, affirmation. There you go.
So, when we think about dating and relationship and marriage, how much are we focusing on what we need versus what we want?
That's a good one right there.
And are we ignoring the things we need if they come in the wrong package? Because I'm guilty.
I think we're all guilty.
I'm the first one. Sentence me. Because if what I need shows up in a package that is not necessarily what I want, I have probably very much in the past ignored it. And I told you my friend broke up with me, even though we were just friends, because he's a great guy, but he's not in a package I want. And therefore, even if he was the man that I needed, it didn't matter because he didn't come in the package I want. So I'm very much guilty of ignoring what I need because it didn't come in the package that I want.
Makes sense. I think in that case, a lot of people are expecting or wanting something perfect. No one is going to be 100%. No one's going to be everything that you need, right? It's just that simple, even though they may check up most people may check up most of your things, but not all of them. And if you find someone that matches all 100%, that's what Jesus. I'm just saying, no one's that perfect. Mm-hmm. So yes, and then like you said, you have to figure out: is it a need or is it a want? You know what I'm saying? And we really have to focus on what's really matter. What's the long term of it? What's the best outcome of those things? Because I think we all went for what we wanted, not what we needed. We all chased, or been chased, in your case, but we have chased what we wanted, but not what we needed. You understand what I'm saying? And then once we got it, it was like, dang, I might have had someone, but they didn't have everything that she had. So I chose that one, and like, darn it, I could have stuck with that because she had what I needed, not what I wanted. You know what I'm trying to say? I'm gonna stop right there.
Okay, Fire Engine. You said hi and bye at the same time. Okay, hi, bye. And here is it called settling? Is it settling if you get what you need but not what you want? Because I hear that a lot. And I think even in my own life, I think to myself, because you know what? I'm going to be honest. In my mind, in this dating thing, I do think I can have it all, quote unquote. And I know it's a ridiculous statement to make. We cannot have it all. But there is a part of me that truly believes I can strike that perfect balance between the man that I need coming in the package that I want. And if he does not, then, I have been asked, are you okay with being alone, and are you prepared to be alone if what you want and need don't come in the same package? I was asked that question honestly, and I said, I'm not okay with it, but I'm prepared if it doesn't, that I may end up alone. Because I do want to strike that perfect balance, because I think it's possible. I do recognize that I may have to sacrifice something. And for me, the sacrifice is money. I will, if I get almost everything I need and want, but he doesn't have a ton of money, he doesn't make six figures or whatever it is, I'm willing to sacrifice money. That's the sacrifice I will make. Like some women will sacrifice looks and whatever. I'm willing to sacrifice money if that's the thing that I have to put to the side to be able to strike the balance between the man that I want and the man that I need. Because we can't, I know we can't have it all. So I'm not necessarily going to get Mr. 6'2.5", 6'3", who's also making $250,000, who is a godly man, who's family oriented, who's smart, who's all of these things I have on a list that I carry in my purse. Okay, hallelujah. I may not get all of that, but I might get him, and he makes $75,000, $80,000, which by the way is still great money. And don't let nobody tell you if you make that money that's not good money. That's really good money. Because you bring that together with someone making roughly the same, and you guys are still in the 150 plus range. It's a good damn life, by the way. But I'm willing to sacrifice that to get what I need, to strike that balance for what I need and want. Like, what would you sacrifice if this woman came and she was so close to what you needed and wanted, but there was one thing, like God was like, she's all these things, but she's this one thing, you can't have this one thing, what would it be?
Oh man, you have to come back to. I gotta think about that for me.
Isn't it something to think about? I've had to think about it.
Yeah, because I mean, what you said is a good one, but that one for men
it's different, right? Like you guys are not, because it doesn't matter. I've never met a man who's cared about how much money I make. I've never met a man who's ever asked me how much money. First of all, I've also never met a man who I've ever asked how much money he makes. So this whole how much money you make thing is always intriguing to me, because I didn't even know how much my ex-husband made.
Right. I never asked a woman ever who I dated or talked to how much money you make. Like never. I didn't really care. I mean, you had a job. That my main thing is, as long as you had a job, I'm cool. You work, cool. That's perfect.
You're like, good for you, girl.
I was based out if she had her own car, check. She had her own place and she lived by herself, check. Okay, I don't care how much money she makes. She making enough to survive by herself. Now, if she was living with 10 other people, then I got, girl, what do you do, right?
Yeah.
But as far as me, what is the one thing that I can, oh man, I gotta come back. I'll have an answer by the end of the show, but I gotta think about that one for a little bit.
It's a good one, right? Because it's at our big age, as I like to say, at our big age, right? We will recognize, like, I think sometimes when we're in our 20s, it's just like, we do feel like we can have it all and it's going to be amazing. And we have time. So if they don't come up, it's like next, right? And I'm not saying that somehow like in our 40s, like life is over. It's not. Like, I think I'm much better off at 40 something than I was in my 20s. I know a lot more. I'm more mature. I even think I'm prettier than I was in my 20s. If I'm honest with you, I look at some of my pictures in my 20s, like, girl. I mean, I was still attractive, but I mean, little. But I think you get to a certain point where you recognize that you're gonna have to make some concessions in life, because God, if you are saying the right prayer, which I have now learned to do, God's gonna give you what you need. And do I need a man who can fly me to Tibet at the drop of a dime? No. Would I like a man who eventually we can get to Tibet? Yes. Or Bali or Dubai or all the places? Yes. When we put ourselves together and we decide we have a plan, because this is what we're going to do for our honeymoon or whatever, or for our anniversary or whatever it is, we can still get to those places. But do I need a man who's just like, baby, I can whisk you off. What are you doing on Friday? because we're going to Dubai. Would it be nice? Yes. Is that what I need? No, I don't need that. And so understanding that I don't need that, I don't like the money requirement isn't the biggest part for me. It's the man whose heart is good. It's the man who leads through God, right? I started to even realize how, and I'm just going to speak for myself. I started realizing for me how important it was to find out how a man was raised, and if he was raised on love or raised on survival.
Mm. Raised on love or raised on survival? A lot of men was raised on survival.
Yep.
Some didn't have love. It was
Yep.
like I had to figure it out and make ends meet. I gotta find some way to get some food. I gotta figure where I'm gonna lay my head each night. I know a lot of men who was raised on survival, and I know some men raised with love too, but mainly, I hate to say this, but most of the people I know were raised with love or a two-parent home, right? Or the one. I'll say this. I'll say this for the men: either there was two-parent home or there was the only child, because most only child are spoiled. So, but anyone else, survival.
It's important. And I've realized for me, being with someone who's raised on survival, we're just not as congruent. And I find it difficult to be led by that person. For me, I want to be led by a person who was raised on love. Um, and again, like I said, really understanding what I need versus what I want. And having conversations with someone to find out, like, I've talked about it. You've seen the show that I did when I was talking about what someone's relationship with love is. And, writing a letter to love to better understand what your relationship with love is, not the person you love, not people you love, but the concept of love itself. What is your relationship with that word love? How do you give love? How do you want to receive love? Because it is important to me, if I'm coming in as your partner, to ensure that you're communicating that to me so I can love you in the way that you want to be loved. Or if I cannot, we figure that out that very quickly, that I'm just incapable of loving you in a way that you receive love. For me, I think a lot of stuff will be mitigated if we have those conversations early. But I need, like, these are things for me at this stage that I need to better understand, because that's how we're able to build a foundation. And it goes really deep. Like, I want to go really deep with my partner, because again, that's my leader. That's the person I trust. That's the person I'm supposed to be safe with. I also want to create a safe space for him. And if for some reason I realize that I just can't love you, I'm incapable of loving you the way you receive love, then let's just not even bother. So those things, I've started to realize, and that's, again, like I said, I now know how to pray for what I need, and hoping that it shows up.
So I'm just thinking, because I thought I was going to have an answer for you. So I think what I would compromise at this point now in my age, where I wouldn't compromise when I was younger, is a woman with kids. I have two, right? But they will have to be like teenagers, like no newborns. Like they can't be like they can't be from 6 and below. Like I would prefer 10 and up, 10 or higher, because I'll have a 12-year-old and I have an 11-year-old. So, or 12 and 10. But anyway, you gotta be older. The baby phase is over. That's what I'll compromise now at the age of 42 versus when I was 28 and I was single, looking for marriage. Back then it was no kids, right? And also, and I just that right there, and also that I'm looking for someone who wants to be a helpmate, right? And not just financially, everything across the board. Like, if you're not gonna be a helpmate in this relationship, we're not gonna work.
I love that.
It's that
Does it
simple.
matter how many kids and by how many men?
Ooh, two, two. I got two, but I was married, but two. As far as maybe baby daddies, you have to be married if you. Okay, great question. So, so kids, two kids max for me, right? Now, as far as fathers, if you was married with one, right, and then you had an oops, okay, right. But I would definitely like, I would love to prefer to you to be married, if anything, right? Because having too many oopses at our age, and I'm referring to
Thank
if
you.
you're in the late 30s and 40s. Now I'm
Thank
talking about in
you.
the early 20s. I'm talking about a mature adult who's working, providing for their kids, X, Y, Z. I'm not looking for someone trying to live their best life. No, no. So it matters. So those are it.
I get it. And we do have to think about those things like uh and because I've had to think about that too. Like the kid thing for me was I wanted a man with a child over the age of 16. Funny enough, I joined the G singles dating app, people.
Okay. Okay. So we're gonna see you on one of the episodes.
If there's a love story, maybe. if there's if I'm praying I get a man who's open to being a part of this adventure journey that I'm on, because that's kind of important to me. Is
Mm-hmm.
that I meet someone. He may not be on the show every week and where there's the three of us, but he's open to this journey that I have started. But I mean, if there's a love story, sure, I'll be happy to share it. And it's funny because there is, what I realize sometimes that people don't. I'm actually going to read my dating profile on the Kendra G dating app for all of you to understand. For me, I'm the person who reads every single profile. And some of us do not realize how we are shooting ourselves in the foot with how we present ourselves on our dating profile. Because I think that there's a way to convey the things that you don't want without them being negative. And I'll see a lot of people who are like, no cheaters, no liars, no, like they have these things. And it's like, I read it, I'm like, like, oh my God, like is this a person I would ever want to have a conversation with? Because it seems like so aggressive. And interestingly enough, I don't know why this is, but I also have a lot of women who are liking me, and it on their profile it says that they're straight, but they're hearting me. So and their profile is like, it just comes off negative. So I was like, I needed to find, first of all, I got actually a professional photo shoot, like by Jinx. So there is a photographer who does the events that my workplace does, and he's like a world famous photographer. And at our last event, he was like, Toshiba, just sit down, and he just started directing me. And like, hold on, and he took this picture. I don't know if you guys can see.
Yep.
But this is like actually on my dating profile. It's he's taken a couple of them, and it's actually going to be my new book cover. But even just the picture that I chose as like my first picture was important. So anyways, my dating profile is, and I'd love to know what you guys think actually about this dating profile. So I wrote, my about is an island girl who grew up in a big city whose goal is to see the world. I've had the opportunity to visit 2 continents, 7 countries, and would love a travel partner to see the rest of the world with. What I'm looking for, a man who leads by example, who is driven, educated, well-spoken, ambitious, has a passion for life, loves to travel, and is ready for a committed relationship. I take care of my mind, body, and soul, and you should as well. I have an adult daughter, so unfortunately, if you have a young child, I'm no longer in that stage of my life. My preference is for athletic, fit, taller Black men. Sorry, my king isn't short. Now, my deal breakers were children with multiple women, young kids under 16, smoking, cigarettes, and weed, an untidy past, and unhealed trauma. So it was important that I say the things that I don't like, but not in a way that came off as if I was a negative person. And I hope I conveyed that. um in the best way that I could. But there's a lot of people who do it, and when I read it, I just have this visceral reaction, like that just seems very negative.
Well, it doesn't sound negative, but let me ask you this, because dating app, I know how they go. How many people that still hit you up after you tell them all the things that you don't like?
A number. I just have to weed it out.
Yeah. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, we don't read through all that. We just look at the pictures and we'll skim down. But no. Now, once after I talk to you, I'm like, oh, okay. Now I might go back to her page, start reading a little bit more to get to really know her if I, I mean, the conversation's good. But in most cases, I'm really just swiping and I'm not really looking much at your picture. So just like
And I'm the opposite. I read everyone's profile before I heart them. Because I don't want to waste my time. And there was a guy who interestingly didn't want a woman over 5'4". Well, I'm 5'5", so clearly you don't want me. That's who I am. Or the men who don't want women with kids. I clearly have a child, adult or not, she's still my child. And so I'm not going to connect with you. So I try to do it in that way, because I have a thing that I have a respect for the things that you say that you don't want, because I would assume that you've thought this through. And if I appear on the list of the not wants, I'm not going to try to convince you otherwise. And I think that's my biggest thing. I don't want to have to convince someone that I'm right for them because they don't want things about me that I'm just like, I can't change being a mother. I can't change. If you want a tall, slender woman, I'm not that. So for me, I read every profile because I would rather not waste time doing the back and forth. Even if it's only a few messages, it's just time I put into someone that I could have put into someone else.
Okay.
So I just don't. But I get that to me, I get the kid question quickly out of the way. That's the one thing I try to get out of the way. How many kids do you have? What are the ages of these children? And if there's more than one child, how many women come with those children? That one I get quickly out of the way. And if it's all the wrong answers, I say thank you. It's been lovely, but I'm just not in that stage in my life.
Yeah, and that's a very important question from either on my side and your side, both sides, because you don't even have to worry about the baby mamas or baby daddy conversation at the point. Based on the age of the kids, you already know. Nope.
Nope.
No need to even go down that road. I'm just going to go left. I'm good. In fact, I'm gonna bust a U-turn, go the other way. Thank you very much.
I think I'm not even making exceptions now, because I know myself and I know the stage of life I'm in, and I know what I want. I know the life I envision for me and my husband, and having an 8-year-old, that's not it, because there's 10 more years for that child to be 18, and I'm going to be 45 in November. I ain't got 10 years to wait. I do not. Right. You say 17, 18, woo, bring it on. You say 22 like mine. I'm like, hallelujah, like we're 8. But you say anything, honestly, under the age of 16, I got to think about how many years they have left to go to school and what life, but how many years I have left on this earth. It's just not, for me, it's not worth it. And I just don't waste time. And I'm not, and this might sound whatever, I'm just not making certain exceptions because I've done it before and I've seen how it manifested in my life. And I was like, you make this exception because this is a man that you want, but you're not going to be living the life that you need to live because you're choosing the man that you want.
There we go. You just kind of did a full circle there to answer your question that you said earlier, or gave a perfect example. You sure did. And honestly, too, in your situation is great too. Or any woman who's in their 40s, whatever, and have it, or even late 30s, to have a child that's actually 17, 18 years older. Yeah. Honestly, most men, we don't look at you. I mean, we know you're a mother, but that child's an adult.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Like, I'll talk to a woman who has a kid that age any day. Like, oh, cool. How old's your child? Oh, he 18. That's a young man. Okay, so when you're free, we trying to do something, right? That's all pluses, because we know, because you're a mother, so you had your own child. Yeah, I'm a father. I know my kid, so I know the learning stages, all the school events, the practices, the school programs. It's just a lot. Then other kids' birthday parties, you gotta do this.
The
You gotta
kids' birthday parties. Like, how many fucking birthday parties do we have to go to?
Listen, I be getting a birthday. I'm like, who's this kid? I be talking to my son, like, yo, who's this child? Like, have I saw him before? Like, we don't go to everybody's party just because they give you a birthday card. I'm sorry. All right, I digress.
No, it was a synodicity. That was a trigger for me. The fucking birthday parties. Like, why am I spending all this money on kids? I do not know. I am so. And you brought me back. This is why I can't do it. I am over that. We are now packing up these kids to go to some goddamn birthday party I do not want to go to hang out with parents I don't care for.
Or never met in your life. So I'm glad we're talking about this. So, ladies, this is why men or women, whoever, this is why we kind of want to avoid talking to you if you have kids of that young age. It's not that we don't like kids. We just know what comes with all the kids already. And it's a lot of work because honestly, like, when I want to be off, I just want to chill. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I got my kids, but I'll do this. Oh, we're going to a birthday party. Like, what birthday party? Whose birthday party? Now I gotta find a gift. Then then I gotta find out, are they white, are they black? Because I gotta make sure I buy the right gift.
It matters.
Huh?
It matters. It does matter.
Sometimes I'm an asshole sometimes. So if I do get invited to an all white family, guess what? They get some Black Panther. If it's a girl, they get some black Barbies. Because you know why? And I'm being funny, but I'm not, because at the same time, when my daughter had her birthday party and she had a white friend invited, they brought all white Barbies and stuff. So I'm like, oh, hey, I have no problem with it. She got them, cool. I just say, okay, when I go to her birthday party, her daughter's getting a bunch of black dolls. Cool. Yeah. But anyway, I digress.
No, it's and I think people don't. This is why, like, the dating landscape is a little messed up for some people, because they don't consider what the other person that they're bringing into their life has to go through, right? I recognize that a man coming into my life, even though my daughter's a little bit older, he might be thinking, oh, there's stages in her life that she still has to experience, right? She's going to get married. Is he going to contribute to her getting married? Or is it just me and her father? That's a conversation to have. She's going to have a child. Is, how does the role he play as a potential grandfather? Because she, my daughter's father is still very active. But, what role does that play? Is, she's a little bit older, so he's not stepdad in the way that he would have been if she's like. So I recognize that there are things that men have to consider. Like, I have to consider things of what role I show up if he's got a daughter. What role do I play in her life? And those are things I consider, because that impacts the life we have together. And so, ladies and gentlemen, to that point, when people say that they pass on you, stop like blaming them for passing on you based on decisions that you made. Like, I recognize that being a young mom, there's some people who are like, no, like I'm going to pass on you. We're just in different stages, not what I want. I'm not going to get mad at them because they're trying to map out the life that they want, and I'm just not a part of that. Why am I going to get mad at that?
Right. And also, it's not that as a man, but well, you're a weak man. No, I'm not. I have my own kids. Like, I mean, I'm sorry. That's how life is, right? Life is not fair. But I just don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with disrespectful kids. And if you have multiple baby daddies, I ain't trying to deal with that neither.
If you have multiple baby moms, I'm not trying to deal with that. Multiple children is one thing. Multiple mothers, it's like again, children come with mommies and daddies, okay? Yes. And if you're bringing someone into your life, I would want to know that I can have a cordial conversation with the mother of your child. Because I say to anyone, even though my daughter's 22, if you're coming into my life, the one consistent male is her father. And I welcome any man who comes into my life to have a conversation with my daughter's father. And if that's what they choose to do, right? Like, he knows the old me, you now have the new me. And you want to sit down and chat about that, or just make sure that you guys can break bread. I encourage that. And I would hope that I could sit down with the mother of your child and children to do the same. I just don't want to have that conversation 3 and 4 times.
Makes sense.
With 3 and 4 different women. Like, I'm not interested. Like, that's taxing on anybody. Like, it's a taxing thing to now you're getting to know 3 and 4 different personalities and then the children's personalities. I don't want no part of that. Mm-mm,
Yeah.
mm-mm, no, I'm shaking. I keep shaking my head. Like, really think about that scenario when you're dating everybody and you come with a little bit extra, right? When you are coming with not just the children, but the other parent to those children, the person that is taking you on has to consider how that fits into the fabric of their life. And I know from my life, the life that I see for myself, I want Christmases where the families can come together. I would love to be the Smiths, right? Like, as much as I can't stand whom,
Right,
I
right,
think
right.
it's beautiful to see when they can come together and the children and the mothers and Will are in the same room. I think Derek Rose has done a pretty good job. I know that was going viral recently, and people were talking about the fact that Derek Rose was able to be with his wife and the mother of their children at Christmases. They have that together. I would love to have that. I would love to have a place where we're able to have a family dinner with my daughter's father and his significant other and the family that they have, and me and the family that I have, and then the spouse or ex-spouse of the person I was with. Or, like, I think that's healthy no matter how old the children are. But I don't have a big enough table for a man with 3 and 4 different baby mamas. I'm not cooking that much food. That's a lot of chicken.
That's a lot of jerk, huh?
Right? That's a lot of jerk wings and a lot of rice and peas and nuts like that. I'm not cooking for 3 and 4 women.
I'll just say this too, but that does take a lot of maturity for that to even get to that point, right? To where pretty much for couples, you and yours, your ex and your new and his, and that takes a lot of maturity, and a lot of people are not mature at this point to even have the conversation, right? To have, hey, let's put our differences together, because at the end of the day, it's really about the kids at the end of the day. But a lot of people take things so personal and they don't know let go and just live and move forward, right? So I seen that one time in my life. My dad was married 3 times.
Oh, God bless your father.
I know, right? He's old school. He one of those school guys. You know what I'm saying?
I love divorce. One of them.
Yeah. But yes, Al. I think I don't know what event it was, but I have an older brother, my dad's first wife, and me and my brother were twins. But my mom and her mom, we were all in one place for this cookout. Don't know where it was though, but it was all in one place. And my dad's having a good time. It was cool, no drama, no nothing.
That's beautiful, because I think one of the things that we have to remember is we set the stage and we set the example, going back to what I said earlier of how our children see love, right? And what that looks like. Going back to, are you raised on struggle or are you raised on love? I want my daughter to have been raised on love, and I pray that's what I raised her on. And I think she would agree if she was here listening, right? Like, I try my best to raise my daughter on love. And I think no matter the age of the children, I think it is important if they can see the unity instead of divisiveness among it. Like, I don't want to ever feel like, oh, if my daughter's father were to call me about anything, because we still share a child. I don't care how old she is. We still share a child, that my ex would have a problem and vice versa, right? Like, it's a beautiful thing when we can show our children what, like, family should look like, no matter what your family structure is. Like, this is what family looks like. And also to have additional community to come to, right? Like, I would want my partner's child or children to know that I am now part of their community. This is what this show is about, right? Changing the conversation around Black relationships. And that starts with rebuilding community. And I can tell you, I'm just not interested in building a community with 3-4 different baby mamas, as they say. But a man who's had an ex-wife or was, a previous relationship, and, sitting down and being able to be cordial and being able to break bread, that's important. Like, every year since my daughter has been 16, she's decided that she just wants to have her birthday dinner with me and her father. And so every year, other than like some COVID years and years I was out of the country, we go to dinner, just me, her, and Tim. And so many people find that strange because the moment I'm saying we're doing that, it's like, oh, well, you guys together. And I'm like, no, we haven't been together since she was 1. But this is what she wants. She decided I don't want party with everybody. She'll do her things with her friend, but she wants her parents together. And every year we're in a family group chat. She kind of says where she wants to go. I tell her father, I'll make the reservation. I kind of tell him what the budget is and whatever. And we sit down and we smile and we take family pictures because that's what she wants.
I mean, because see, that's the problem right there. A lot of people are so negative. They're looking at it as, oh, y'all back together? No, it's about the child. And we're being an example as far as mature adults that, hey, even though I moved on, he moved on, whatever case may be, we have a child together that's forever attached to both of us. So, ladies and gentlemen, you need to understand, we have a child with somebody, regardless if y'all separated, divorced, whatever case may be, you are still attached to each other for the rest of your lives. And I think that's honorable from you and your ex that yes, both come together every year when possible, and y'all have a birthday celebration for your daughter, and that's her request. She asked for that. You didn't make him do it. He didn't make you do it. That's her request. If my daughter say, "Hey, Daddy, I want to go. I just want to spend time with you and Mommy," I'm not gonna say no to that. And I will hope my partner at the time will understand that too as well, right? And we should be at the age of maturity that, hey, I'm going to spend time with our daughter. If I had a partner and if that was a problem, I might have to reevaluate the situation there. Because one, you don't trust me, and then number 2, I said it's for my daughter.
Yeah.
And me being with you, you sure know how I feel about my ex anyway, right? And vice versa. Like I'm not trying to get back with nobody. It's all for the kids. Yeah. That's part of the community. That's part of the future. That's part of the growth, and that's part of showing love to our kids. Even though mom and dad are not together, we still can come together and do something nice for you, right? So I will end my plan there.
And I know that I have been in a place where dealing with the baby, it's I don't like that word, but dealing with, for all intents for the baby mama, the mother of the children, because it's contentious, I don't like the experience. And in some ways, I feel like in a previous relationship, my ex may have had to make a choice to have peace. And I don't want that. And again, difference between praying for what I want and what I need. I know that I don't want to ever be in a space where my man feels like to keep the peace in our home, there's a choice that needs to be made. This is why healthy relationships, understanding what kind of relationship my potential partner has with the person he has a child or children with, is important, because I don't want him to ever feel like I need peace in my home, and in order to have peace in my home, I need to put her, way over there. And the two shall never come together and meet. I do want to, like I said, be in a space where my person's, ex can call me and talk about the children, and maybe I can give some advice. Maybe the daughter's going through some things and she's like, listen, I know she seems to be comfortable with you. What are you finding? Is she telling you anything? Because I think we're in the community and we're responsible for these children. So even finding out those things as I'm dating is important, because I don't want that war that, oh my God, she's calling me again, or something's going on and there's disrespect. I'm at a space in my life that I can't do that in the dating stage. And that's why we always come back to this on the show: communication.
Facts.
Communication. I showing, just because the person shows up in the package that you want doesn't mean that you strike down all of the needs. And I've been guilty of that. I in my previous relationship, I didn't want men. I've never actually wanted men with young children. Like, the moment my daughter started to be older, I wanted anybody I dated, their children, to be older, because I knew, like, I'm just like I said on my profile, I'm not at that stage in my life where redoing this young child thing is something I'm interested in. But he showed up in the package that I wanted, and I ignored the things that I knew I needed for my life.
Learn
And
lesson.
and he showed up with 4 young children. And I was like, you know what, Jesus, you brought me the package, so I know this is not on the list of things that I need and even want for my life. But I'm just gonna ignore that. And it didn't land me in a desirable place in the end. And I've learned that again, girl, no, that doesn't work for the life that you want to live. It just does not work for that. So we got to consider these things, right? If you want to have a successful relationship, you want to have a successful dating relationship, if you want to have a successful relationship, do you know the difference between your needs and your wants? And are you praying for the right thing? Because God will answer. I am a big believer in God and the universe and my dead daddy. Rest in peace, daddy. I'm convinced my daddy is up there having conversations trying to find me a husband. So I am a big believer in, if you are praying and you're a prayer person, like I was saying to someone the other day, my grandmother was a prayer warrior. That woman would, like, she was the person you brought your problems to, and she would pray. And she did it in my own life. And I've seen miracles happen in my life. And I knew it was because my grandmother had prayed. And so I grew up with women and men who knew how to pray. And I am not saying I am that type of prayer warrior, but I know how to go to the Lord. I know how to thank him and be grateful for the things that I have and the things that I've yet to receive, because I think that's important. But I also know how to pray for what I want or the things that I desire. And I've seen me praying for the things that I want and desire show up in my life, and it's there. And then God says, this is what you said you wanted. And then I go, thank you, Jesus. Didn't quite come the right way. So let me recalibrate this prayer. You gave me what I prayed for. I can't be mad at him. He gave me what I prayed for. And I need to be like, this ain't quite it. So I'm gonna go back to the drawing board. Dear Father, Heavenly Father, let's have a conversation now. Because I learned my lesson. Let me change this just a little bit. So make sure you know, whatever you believe in, if it's Buddha, if it's Allah, if it's whomever that you believe out there in the universe, please make sure you know what you're praying for, because God and your higher power will deliver it to you, and you're gonna question it, but it's your prayer that led you there.
Well, as the church says.
Amen. So dating, what's going on with your dating life? I done told you about mine. Are you privy to say what's going on at your? I know you're not really dating yet.
Yeah, no, I'm still, I'm just working on me. As I said, I think on the first, maybe the second episode in this chronicle, is that, fellas, don't go out there start dating unless you're ready to start dating. I'm not there yet. I'm still working on myself. I'm not trying to be in a place where I'm angry, right? Because most men, when you come out of divorce, sometimes you can be angry, right? And everything, right? I'm just being honest with you. You know what I'm saying? Some go, oh, I'm not. I may be sometimes, but I gotta catch myself, check myself. So right now, I'm just really working on myself, the health, my kids. Main thing is work on the kids. You know what I'm saying? That's my main focus right now. And then the lovely lady will fall in place when that time is right.
You had said a powerful statement that I posted the other day, and you said, sometimes, the most dangerous man is a man who survived divorce.
Amen.
Right? A man who's come out of divorce on the other side. And I think, and it's funny, I think for men, a woman who's been divorced can be a good or a bad thing. It's either we learn from it or we're scarred from it. And I think this is, again, going back to communication, right? Like I'm a person who learned from my marriage, who learned from my divorce, who learned from, the breakup of what I thought was going to be my next husband, the breakup with the person I thought would be my next husband. I've learned from it, and I use it as the compass to what I want and need, right? And that's how I've looked at the demise of my relationships, because I'm the common denominator in all of my failed relationships, right? It's not like they just failed and I'm like, what happened? I don't know. Like, how did this, like, right? I'm the common denominator. If I've had 5 relationships fail, I failed with 5 different men, right? So, and what I've tried to do is use that as a compass to guide me in the right direction. And I'm praying that I've had enough experience, because our Lord knows I don't need no more, Jesus. I don't need any more direction. I got it. My compass it's good. I don't need no more experience with dealing with any kind of heartbreak. I can find my way there, Lord. I'm just saying. I'm good.
Nothing wrong with that.
I'm good. So I will keep you guys updated on this person that this thing.
Mr. Prospect.
Mr. Prospect. But before I go, I did want to play just a quick video of my week. I had the pleasure of being in the room with some incredible star power over the last week. One of the most important person in that room to me was Miss Tanya Lee Williams, who played Olivia on Young and the Restless. If you do not know Tanya Lee Williams, I'm sure for those of you who had grandmothers or great grandma or moms that like Young and the Restless, you know who Tanya Lee Williams is, because she played Shamar Moore's wife, for people who may not know. So she was Shamar Moore's wife, Olivia, on that show. And let's be clear, there was only a few Black people when we were growing up on Young and the Restless. So if you watch Young and the Restless, your grandmother watched Young and the Restless, you know who Tanya Lee Williams was. And Tanya Lee Williams is also Jamaican. And for me, when I left Jamaica and came to Canada, and in Jamaica, there was a lot more people that looked like us on TV. There were the news anchors, there was the shows, there was all of that. And I came to Canada, and my mother used to watch Young and the Restless. And other than this soap opera called Generations, that was only on for, I think, a few seasons, where they tried an all-Black cast. And back in the 90s, that didn't work out so well. We had Olivia. And so she was like the most important. So I got to take a picture with her and just had a moment with her that was really nice for me. So anywho, I'm going to show you this quick video of the week that I had at my job putting on Canadian Screen Week, and go.
So much. Thank you to Noah Siegel and the team at Elevation, to our partners at Paramount, to our wonderful cast and crew. This movie...
Thank you so much. Did you all think I was dead?
I just couldn't be happier right now, so...
Whoop whoop.
So that was a little bit of a glimpse into my week, and I'm so grateful and so blessed. People never forget how grateful and blessed we are to be in this space and time, living the way that we do. And I know sometimes we put on the news and we put on so many things and we see so much negativity, but I'm in a place where I recognize every day that I am fortunate and blessed to live the life that I do. And I'm going to give all power and grace to the good Lord up above. I know we've been talking about him, but let me tell you, prayers are answered. and I am living my life based on the prayers that I put in. And I'm not talking about like I prayed yesterday and God delivered today. Like I have put in the work, I put in time, I put in prayer, to be able to be in the space and time that I am right now, to be able to do what it is that I do. And I'm so blessed and so grateful that I could be a part of something that is so beautiful and so powerful, for hundreds and thousands of people. And we haven't gotten our ratings yet, but we're hoping millions of people watch the award show that I was a pleasure of being a part of putting together. And I hope next year that I have a husband or at least a significant other to be seated beside me at this award show. And twins, I'm going to invite you too as well, because now I know how the system works. I can have people. I had somebody come to almost every show. I had a guest for every show, but I'm going to work my magic next year that I'm going to bring 2 guests to every show. But it was beautiful. It was amazing to be a part of that. And I recognize how blessed I am and how fortunate I am. And I worked really hard. And I also prayed to be here. And I don't take any moment of my life for granted. So there you go.
All right.
Okay, but before we jump off, we usually do our dating tip. I'm going to start with you. What is your dating relationship tip for this week?
Stick to the pros and cons. Stick to the cons. Meaning that you know what you want, right? And then you know what you don't need. And if you're being intentional, you want things to really work out, you got to let go of those things that you don't want, even though it looks good, sounds good, feels good. If the pros and cons don't match up for you, you want to keep it moving. Unless you want to, if you really want a different outcome.
Do you have a pros and cons list?
Oh yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
Interesting. And do you, as you're meeting people, are you measuring them against this pros and cons list?
Oh yeah. Yep. I'm not on no apps, no social, no dating apps right now. I'm just having conversation, but some conversations don't last long. Like I'll start talking to you, then after a few conversations, I don't entertain. I don't chase. I'm done chasing. I did that in the 20s. Now 40s, I'm not chasing. Now I'll chase if I want you. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just not. The energy's not there no more for me. So
that's the mic drop, ladies. A man who wants you will chase you, but not to the point where they're just like feel like they're wasting their time. Exactly. However, when a man does want you, he will go to the ends of the earth for you. And that is what I have learned, especially me as a person who dates long distance. And a lot of the men that I'm with actually don't live in my city. They don't even live in my country. And these men will make time. They will make a way to see me. They will do what they need to do to pursue me. I have seen it in action, but also when a man does not want you, he just doesn't show up for you. So I love the fact that you said that, and more women need to hear that. That's going to be a soundbite. What is my dating tip for the night? I would say, I'm just going to say what I've been saying. Know the difference between your needs and your wants. For years, I was chasing my wants, or I'm actually going to reverse that. I was being chased by my wants. And I was ignoring my needs. And I'm in a place that I am now praying for my needs and hoping it comes with the thing that I want. I think a list, I'm going to go back. I do actually have a list. I have a list of the desirable traits that I want in a man. There was an exercise I actually did this year that my girlfriend sent to me, and I took the names of people and bad things that I needed to cleanse out of my life, and I crumpled up that paper and then I burned it and threw it away. And after I did that, I then made a list of all of the positive traits and characteristics I wanted in a man, and I folded that up, and I actually do carry it in my purse. and every once in a while I pull it out to take a look at it, to say, here are the positive traits that I'm looking for in a man. No negativity. There's nothing negative on it, because I think we're almost very clear about what we don't want.
Right.
I think we're not often clear on what we do want. Like, I can very much articulate what I don't want, right? Like, and sometimes you can see what you don't want from a mile away. But what is it that we do want? If we wrote a list, to your point, I guess our points are very similar. If you wrote a list of all the things in a man or a woman that you do want, would you recognize them when they show up? And I think for me, if I go back to the story I told you earlier, that's why my heart was beating so fast, is that a lot of the things that I had on that list of what I wanted, I could see in that man.
Okay.
And that's a beautiful thing.
Yes.
So let's focus. Again, my advice would be, like, understand the difference between your needs and your wants, and truly focus on what you need, and write a list of all the positive characteristics that you want in your partner. Especially for the ladies, what are the positive traits that a man needs to have to take space in your life, right? Like, I think we often forget that we allow people into our lives. People don't just stumble into our lives. We give them permission to enter into our lives. And so if you've given a negative person permission to enter in your life and F some ish up, that's on you. You gave them space and permission into your life. And so you need to understand right away, I cannot allow this person space or permission in my life, because they actually don't carry the values and the characteristics that I say that I need and want in a man. I like I said, I'm at a time where it sounds rigid, but there's just no exceptions for me, because I've already experienced all the things that I thought I wanted that I damn well didn't need. And so for me, there's no exception, because I've envisioned this life that I want, and I know the person who fits into my life, and I will fit into his. So that's my dating advice. It was long-winded, but there you go.
All right.
There you go. So thank you, everyone. We appreciate you. I appreciate you, twins. I know I was late. So I appreciate your patience and all of that. We will be back next week. Again, we are putting the link for those of you who want to join the show. The link every week will be in the comment section. I'm pinning the link. If you want to come on the show and share relationship advice, a dating success, a dating disaster, you want some advice, you've been married and you want to bestow some marriage advice on our audience and for Twins and I, please do so. Come and join the show. Again, the purpose of the show is to change the conversation around Black relationships, because we want to see us being successful, happy relationships, and the rhetoric about Black men and Black women not being able to find the love that they want is incorrect. We are going to tell you that week after week, you can absolutely find the love that you desire. I would say, work on yourself to make sure that you are the person you want, desires.
Mic drop.
Right? There we go. So thank you, everyone. We will see you next week. Again, like, subscribe, comment, do all that stuff. And then, like it says, as it's scrolling, make sure you check out the Sienna series and No Handouts for Black Girls on Amazon. Have a good night. Bye.